Huh. Pretty fucking bloody. The armor is anti... I don't know, was that a laser or was that a gun? The armor is for that, but they also have cephal particles too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, ginga, eiyuu, densetsu, Gaiden. I don't actually know what that middle part means.
Genetsu?
Ginga, eiyuu, densetsu.
Oh, Ginga Genetsu. No,
It's probably just the Japanese version of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Now that I think about it. Well, I was thinking Legend of the Galactic Heroes, what's the tagline mean? But I'm thinking that whenever I need like images of characters and I don't feel like going back through the episode to get them, I go to the Gynopedia, and that starts with Ginga. So Ginga eiyuu, Gaina. I don't know.
It could be Legends, the Legends wiki, or the Heroes wiki.
Probably I want to say Legends because I know there's also Legend of the Heroes. It's a different anime, and you'd want to make yourself separate. Anyway, we don't have any comments for today, so we can go right over to the board, where I've already mentioned I really need to redo this. Obviously, the thing you think I need to redo is probably the up-to-down ranking system, but not so much, actually. I just need to reposition the characters and the lines to better accommodate future-proofing. Well, I think the first thing I thought of was, like, zooming in here, was putting characters like this and then put another character here and then another character here, like, back and forthing them. But that would be fucking a nightmare. Say you needed to go from the bottom of the board to the top of the board.
Mm-hmm.
You would do every line would be back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the cheat that I do is often to go from one guy all the way up. I could not imagine having to crisscross every rank doing a zigzag. So I think I need to get everybody in a row and then come off like to the right and the left of every character and go straight up and down.
Didn't Kershais get a promotion?
You're delving into the notes. Well, you're not really actually, because I don't have a note about it. No, he didn't. The narrator covers that.
We have Benlin, who works for Abendroth, who is the vice admiral and chief of intelligence that gives the mission to our characters, Reinhard.
Yes.
We have the new crew of the ship. Do we have any new members of the ship? Yeah, all the crew is new. He's no longer in the destroyer. He's now in a cruiser. He's commanding a cruiser. It's a commander, not a captain.
I think you've got that backwards.
Hmm?
I think you've got that backwards. He was piloting a cruiser at the 5th Battle of Iserlohn.
Reinhard?
Yeah.
No, he already has a cruiser. He had a destroyer still in that engagement.
No, he was piloting a cruiser back in the 5th Battle of Iserlohn.
And he still has a cruiser right now.
You're the one saying he has a destroyer.
No, he originally had a destroyer.
No,
which
in the
was
5th Battle of Iserlohn, he had a cruiser. The narrator said so last episode. And well, I don't specifically have it written down, but I'm pretty sure that Krumbach says it would be great if you took this cruiser and took out a battleship.
Oh, yeah.
But my note specifically about last episode, at least on the timeline, Reinhardt promoted commander after defeating an FPA. I don't put an S for some reason. After defeating an FPA cruiser in the 5th Battle of Iserlohn, assigned to captain the cruiser oh god, these fucking names. Hirschreichlinchen.
Yeah, you could be right. I mean, because I was thinking before the movie,
Well,
He was a
thanks.
command.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we're not in some mirror universe where the possibility of me being right exists.
No, I'm
You,
saying you.
yeah,
You
yeah,
are. You might be right.
yeah. You
I
said
just.
you
I
could
was.
be right.
I mean, I could be wrong. So that's also a
Well, I
possibility.
mean, it's my default.
Okay, and never mind. Um, and I might be confusing the destroyer he takes command on, because he does get handed the command of the destroyer after the mutiny because the captain bows out. I think it is. No, wait, they get transferred out. Him and Kirchhoff get transferred out.
You know what the funny thing is? I just realized you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I guess let's go into my notes so that
Oh,
we can just cover this.
yeah.
Funny to note, Reinhardt got his new command for eliminating an enemy cruiser with his destroyer at the 5th Battle of Iserlohn. Sometimes, again, I write these notes around midnight to 3 a.m., so clearly my note was right, and then I remembered my own note wrong. Exactly what Krumbach egged him on to do. So in a way, Krumbach pushed Reinhardt to succeed.
Yeah. I mean, it was just sort of a one thing where he engages, destroys it, and then everybody gets out. He just picks out this cruiser, which is not the same thing as a battleship, of course, but yeah.
No, but I mean, Krumbach's like, hey, why don't you go destroy this thing? And then he's like, are you an idiot? And then apparently he must have fucking done it because he got promoted for it.
I think we see him fighting one ship against another, but I think that target was a cruiser. So we do see it on screen, briefly. You just, target that ship. Boom. They blow it
So I mean,
away and
that's
they
what
go
my
like,
note
okay.
says, that it was a cruiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before I even mentioned that selfie particles were the fake boarding party action they were running at the start of last episode included the line, the density of selfie particles is rising. Firearms cannot be used. So probably would have been something you could have figured out via context clues without me saying anything. Also, I think we called them selfie particles the entire time. So correction there as well, as they are cephalal particles.
like, they're not that kind of particle.
Well, we did the whole thought police selfie particles joke.
Yeah.
So I think this is the first time we've heard of Phezin since Spiral Labyrinth, where I left it up to you to try and figure out what it was, as back then all we heard it referred to was as a source of information for the Free Planets Alliance. Well, in last episode, we got to see the name Phezani Autonomous Territory, signifying that it's more of a place than a thing or an intelligence unit, specifically a territory that sits between the Empire and the Alliance on the opposite side of Iserlohn.
Which is still technically in the, no, they both have patrols there, but technically it's a Imperial holding that is trying to go its own way. That's what they were saying in the briefing.
Sorry, you triggered an earworm.
Sorry.
You can go your own way. I mean, I'm just going to move on into my next note because I think it falls into your question that you just asked. Reinhardt's question has an interesting undertone. He asks if Phezin couldn't just be ordered to prevent Herxenheimer's defection, as despite being an autonomous territory, they still have an obligation to being loyal to the Empire. I find it interesting as it falls into the same territory as calling the Alliance rebels. They are not their own government in the Empire's eyes, but just a group of breakaway rebels that still have an obligation to serve the Empire. In this way, the Phezani are just a group of Imperials that have been given the authority to self-rule, but are expected to still serve the Empire. Clearly, this is only a philosophical view, as the Rear Admiral's response is that the current Phezan leader could invite the rebels into the corridor and put up resistance against the Empire if pushed too hard. I suppose that also implies that the Empire doesn't currently have the resources to take Phezin and hold it while also engaging the Alliance.
And also, it brings an interesting point that why is Pheasant an autonomous region to begin with, considering how, autocratic the Empire seems to be, right? how that situation developed in the first place. Was it a sort of deal like, oh, they were going to break away? It's like, okay, we don't have time for this. We're going to give you a certain level of autonomy as long as you promise to, pay some taxes and pay lip service to imperial rule. Or maybe it was an independent, place in the begin with, and the empire just sort of muscled in. It's like, you can keep your independence. You have your own leadership and stuff like that for your internal affairs, but when push comes to shove, remember you're now part of the empire, and that makes it seem like semantics. But in politics, semantics are important.
I would have to say, I'll say this: I don't know the answer to that question in
Mm,
reality.
yeah.
At most, I know what pheasant is from the other thing,
Hmm.
but I don't know its origins. So, um, I would have to think it's an element of manifest destiny that the Empire claims all territory as its own,
Yeah.
and there might be an element at play here that we know that it sits on the other side. You have Iserlorn on top as one
Hmm.
path through to the Alliance,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
down here on the bottom, in a completely different path, is Pheasant.
Yeah.
It might be an element of nobody lived in or claimed Iserlon as theirs, so that when the Empire built Iserlon Fortress, there was nobody to fight against. But there could be those people living in Pheasant
Yeah.
already were there, and
Yeah.
they're just like, all right, well, technically you're part of the Empire in that all of heaven is part of the Empire. And they're like, sure, don't fight us and we'll be fine. But now that the Alliance is around, it's a whole political thing, and we're still the same way that the Alliance is rebels and not a whole different political entity.
Yeah.
Pheasant is just, imperial subjects that
Yeah.
control themselves.
But I wonder if, I mean, I said this before, wonder if there are other possible breakout. I mean, if they're deeper in or closer to the imperial capital, it must be more difficult for them to break away. But then you have a neo feudal system in place with all these nobles. The temptation of a noble is like, well, I have my own territory, I have my own money, I have my own resource. Why should I listen to the empire, right? There's always that. So the rebellion of the barons, as the British monarchs always had to deal with for centuries, right? Where the real power lies. We are told it lies on the hands of the emperor, that his word is absolute. But like we discussed in other programs, if you cannot enforce it effectively, do you really have the power, right?
I mean, they got the
I think that,
fleets.
yeah. But again, those fleets are led mostly by nobles. So if you're, say, you're in the fleet where, I mean, I'm sure they mix and match, right? They don't put entire families in one fleet so that the fleet isn't completely controlled by that
I
family.
mean, I feel like there has
But
to be an element of,
and they're
uh,
professional soldiers too, as well. They're
well, I
people who
think
come
I
up
mean
the
more of
ranks.
like, I don't know if to call it fear.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
can be in a very strong position to assert your authority over somebody who is only tangentially able to dictate to you terms,
Hmm.
but be too afraid to do so by a perceived threat rather
I
than an
mean,
actual one. I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't really. Yeah, I guess the thing would be like two guys with guns versus like 50 hostages, right? Conceivably, 50 hostages can overpower two guys with guns. But the
yeah.
fear is, I don't want to be one of the people that get shot, because conceivably they will shoot at least some of us before we take them down. The
And
fear of perceived threat versus ability, right?
and no guarantee that if you're the one who first steps up, everyone else is going to join you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I'm gonna fight we're 50, they're two. And you step forward and goes like, yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Mm-hmm. 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 We'll just stay right here until the cops show up and they solve this matter and nobody else has to get shot, right?
Yeah.
And you have the thought police as well, which all those ideas were presented in a previous episodes as being against ideas of democracy and all that, but it could also be a way of controlling the nobles, right? You step out of line, The emperor doesn't even have to say anything. They just level an accusation that you are of wrong think, and you lose everything, right? And they're willing to punish traitors not only themselves but their entire family. So
It's a very
you know,
North Korea situation.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll see more about it. Got
Mm-hmm.
plenty of time to develop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Abendroth clearly says not to ask him where the order came from after Reinhardt leaves the room, and the implication we joked about was the Betbonamunde had hatched another scheme. But I have to question that one. It seems too happenstance for Herxenheimer to have attempted defection and Benamunde to have just allied admirals waiting in the wings to use this as a chance to take out Reinhardt again. I mean, I get it. Get him out by himself with no backup and arrange for him to get killed. It just seems too perfect, too quick.
Mm. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that she arranged it. It's more, again, I think the best villains are opportunist, right? She got wind of what was happening and said, "Well, why don't you send this guy to deal with it?" Right? He has a good track record, right? And if it so happens that it's the Uriah Gambit, right? You send them to the front lines, and if they die, well, they die, right?
I don't know. I think I specifically was going to write in here that I forgot to the fact that Krumbach comes from
Mm-hmm.
higher up. I think wasn't Krumbach an investigator too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which might I guess assume some sort of tie between her and that department of the military.
Or because they're nobles, a direct tied family to family, which is, again, that's the aspect of nobility, right? It's like, oh, you have your department, stuff like that, but hey, it's like, oh, I know somebody, right? My cousin works at the DMV, right? Sure, your cousin shouldn't, make you cut in front of the line or pre-process your paperwork faster than someone else, but they're your cousin, and you gotta eat. You go to Thanksgiving's dinner, you know, with your family. So yeah, once in a while, your cousin does you a favor, right? That's the thing about nobility and all that. It's a parallel and superseding power structure grafted into necessary bureaucracy for the empire to work, right? The military, the public works, etc., right?
I don't know. We haven't seen anything from Benamunde dealing with anyone directly because there was a whole
No,
thing
she does
about
all.
her. Yeah, she tells Glacier,
Mhm,
but so we have no idea if these are family connections or not. I'm just saying that she's tied to what seems to be one department of the military.
mhm. And based on what he tried to do, which was assassinate. Oh no! Well, yeah, he was in part of the plot to assassinate Reinhardt. He was the one who hired the assassin to begin with. You know.
Yeah, Glacier.
Yeah.
And again, still my assertion that he is also the one that ruined her pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's too much to assume. Well, not to assume, to say that a doctor probably forced her into an abortion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, it turns out that her right hand man also just happens to be Dr. Glazer.
Mm-hmm. Who has all these connections and are able to do all these things for her.
Well, I mean, it's more likely that the Emperor didn't want her to have a kid, I guess, and then told Glazer to do this thing.
Already got tired of her, I guess.
All right, well, my last thing here, and I don't actually have a note about it, so just free thinking
Mhm.
this one out. The conversation that we had about what makes Reinhardt a dick last episode.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, yes, it is not an entirely unviable strategy to, do the whole Doom thing of shooting, firing rocket or shotgun blast into a room and then, pulling back and let them fight. That's basically what he did. It's like, oh, there's some demons here and maybe some zombies. Okay, boom. And then, oh, who's left? Okay. And then you finish off whoever happens to be there, right?
Well, I mean, except it's a little more involved.
Yeah, it's
You have
his.
to run up or shoot at them, let them chase you all the way back, and then when the other guys do get into the fight, they just sort of circle back around and leave. But I mean, I get the idea that he's gonna have no backup during this whole mission, so we can't actually ask anyone for help.
Mhm.
But to force their involvement,
Yeah.
because you're going out of your way now to kill your own men, basically. Not even your own men, but men on your side.
Yeah.
Because certainly people of the Empire are going to get killed in that shootout.
Yeah. That was kind of a dick move.
Okay, thought we'd have more about that, but I guess not. All right, well, I mean, I guess you're still not taking any notes on the show.
No. It's just a bit too much.
It's funny, because I think this would be the show that you would take notes on, considering that we're halfway to getting to the 100 episode run of the show
Mm.
itself.
Hmm.
So, this is the one that you're going to want to have thoughts about.
But I already have notes on 2 Gundam shows, and if we start something new, then I'll certainly have notes for that from the very beginning.
The only one I can think of that would be new is whenever I finish, when we finish Gosensu-sama, whatever might come up after that, and whenever I finish Ra Zaphon, whatever show would start after that. But those would be once a month ones. Yeah, because I don't think we're finishing anything else anytime soon. Gundam Seed's got a ways to go. Universal Century is going to be for fucking ever. I'm going to die before that gets done.
And then there's Macross too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're going to finish Macross. Well, probably we'll finish Seed before Macross. Actually, I think about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're almost near the end of Frontier. I don't know how long Delta is, but then we got the movies, the side material. Like, I've gone through my my little calendar thing of how I schedule out the releases, and I'm like, I can't figure out where to put a dead end on Macross because there's so much extra side content that I haven't like figured out what the order of operations are. So I don't know. Like I said, this is a super involved show that we're gonna have 100 episodes of actual things for. You might want to keep track of something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Interesting. I was just checking how many episodes Zelda had. It only has 26.
So Frontier length.
Yeah. By one episode. Well, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna check. Whatever. I don't care. I mean, but there's also movies and everything else too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess with that said, nothing else to do but to get on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
And of course, we're gonna be finishing this entire arc today, so
Yeah.
there won't be any notes about things that are going on in the middle. So if we fuck up something and don't understand something at the very beginning, we're gonna hit the end of the arc not knowing. Then it'll be 2 weeks before we watch the next thing. So that's just the nature of recording 3 episodes a day, or 3 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
I figure that's probably also the thing to do, is that once we do finish Macross,
Yeah.
if we're still in Legends, would be just to, full on Legends.
Mhm.
At least for a bit, give it the catch up space that it needs to
Yeah.
not fall behind as it's already done.
Mm.
Because if you're seeing this is being recorded during that time where we're not releasing episodes for a month because we don't have episodes to release. Unlike Macross, which by the time we started doing Legends, we had several months of content already recorded.
Yeah, we done
3 series?
We finished 3 series, yeah.
4. We were in Macross 7 which is
Yeah, 2
zero.
OVAs and
Yeah, 0 SDF, plus, and well, 7.
7. Yeah, and no, wait. Yeah, we also did a movie as well.
Doesn't count. That's like a 30-minute vehicle.
No, the full.
Yeah,
Do you
okay.
remember love? They'll be
帝
treated.
国歴483年12月、ラインハルト・フォン・ミューゼル中佐が指揮する巡航艦兵士力編チェンは極秘任務を受け、単独で同盟領へ侵入していた。
Not really independently, if you think about it.
Well, it didn't ask for help.
かろうじてイゼルローン回廊周辺とフェザーン回廊周辺の航
On the Pheasant corridors, yeah.
できているだけです。イゼルローンとフェザーンを結ぶ航路というのは通常は行き来する船もなく、中間に荷重惑星も存在しません。辺境警備の艦艇は配備されている。
Oh, that again, that is the thing that they have to use planets or star system to jump from one point to the other.
低いと考えて良いでしょう。問題はフェザーン回廊に接近してからです。当然イゼルローンほどではありませんが、ハントどもの境界警備の部隊が駐留しています。
それらの情報はフェザーンからか。
現地の駐在武官からです。フェザーンの商人どもは自分の親でも売るくせに、航路情報だけは絶対に売りませんからな。
Those goddamn Ferengi.
Yeah.
とにかく駐在武官らが長年かかって収集した情報です。
I guess that was supposed to be a joke and it fell flat. Like, oh, those damn merchants, you know? Low class bastards as they are.
Well, to be fair, I can see where this would be more annoying, right?
Yeah.
At least with the rebels, you know where you stand, but these guys were trying to keep on our side, but also they're being fucking annoying by not giving us the information we need.
And also allowing enemy ships to patrol their space, if you think about it.
Infiltration by who? They don't know, but we don't. Oh, the Alliance, sorry. I thought they were implying that the ship had been infiltrated.
Yeah. Binary star system.
I don't know, I thought it was a wormhole. Like that weird space portal thing we saw last episode.
彼らがヘルクスハイマーの動きを監視しており、フェザンを出港し次第連絡してくることになっています。暗号通信が入電。タイミングが良すぎないか。
I do like the element of fog of war, though. They don't know the Alliance navigation routes.
ヘルクスハイマーの船は昨日0900時、すでにフェザンを出港したらしい。
船のデータも送られています。護衛の船も一隻。航海長、現在の推定位置を計算してくれ。は。おそらく少なくとも。
I like that he gets a printout of it. It's very 1990s still.
Well, I mean, that's what we covered before, that we're using variable tech.
敵をやり過ごすための1日分のロスが痛かったですな。
Because we've seen, like, from the Alliance tanks, what happens when you go too high tech.
直ちに後を追う。頭を押さえることはできなかったが、まだ間に合う。いや、間に合わせる。
了解。
Really, I feel like this is like Battlestar Galactica reboot level technology, which is we can't go too high tech. We're on purpose retrograding everything.
我々の到着時刻がわからないので、所定の座標に向けて暗号通信を送り続けていたのでしょう。超高速通信は指向性が強いし、暗号化されていますから、
Ultra high speed.
心配は少ないと判断したのでしょうな。それにしてもどうやって？駐在武官の誰かが工作船で回廊の出口付近まで進出しているはずです。そこから通信で我々を支援しつつ、他の艦船がしばらくの間回廊から出られないように何らかの工作をして足止めを図ることになっています。それは助かるがかなり危険な任務だな。いや、
I really have to feel like they're doing this now because they must do it again at some point in the show in the future. So this is them explaining where they come up with the idea to do this thing.
Yeah. Remember that time we did that thing? Oh, we haven't shown it yet. Well, we're gonna give you a series that shows it to you. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Or more like it's we're gonna do this thing. Oh, you mean like you did that time?
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting headset.
その中で単独で航行している船を除け。残りは6組。
Is that a brain interface? Huh?
So I'm thinking Cerebro.
これです。
Yeah.
よし。
Professor X is determining that the ships are in
残り
space.
は5組。10隻です。副長、どれだと思う？
I legit don't know what the point of it is, though.
理由は？
目標の船以外はフェザーンの商船と思われます。彼らは商品を運んでいる性格上、最短距離を最大の効率で航行するでしょう。一方、ヘルクス
Yeah, that makes sense.
もはや急ぐ理由はありません。
いや、そんなことはない。彼らは亡命者だ。一刻も早く同盟政府のいや、その
Yeah, I think Bender here is my stand-in.
Oh, he slipped like, oh, the alliance. Oh, wait, we're not supposed to say that. We're not supposed to call them a government.
身の安全は確保できたと考えているでしょう。だとすれば、フェザーンまでの航路を急いだ反動が出て、ゆっくり行こうと考えるのではありますまいか。私も同意見だ。
艦長。
ヘルクスハイマーは尊大な男だ。
I mean, conceivably, though, he also wouldn't want to be stuck on that ship.
Yeah.
He'd want to get to wherever he's going and, like, settle.
同盟政府への土産もなるべくもったいをつけることで価値を釣り上げ、ひいては
And he uses the word alliance, yeah.
高く売り込もうとするだろうから。
He doesn't care about, the pretense, right?
I don't think they've fully developed the idea of what a Karen is, and that this noble is really just a Karen. I want my bags, I want to get off the ship, and I want to settle down on a nice field of corn. Or whatever the fuck he would say, I don't know.
まずいですね。こちらの存在に気づかれて通報されたら。
迂回しよう。レーダー投下装置も使いながら、念のため相手のレーダーレンジを避けて航路を変える。
Conversely, you could bribe them. They are merchants after all.
やむを得ない。
ですが、この先は航路図もないのですぞ。あまり深入りすると。
Conversely, you could buy some. They are merchants after all.
犯してでも遂行せねばならない任務だと言ったのは、K自身ではなかったか。それに作戦への口出しは無用と断ったはずだ。忘れたか。
Put him in his place.
I mean, we told him that the moment he met them.
Yeah. Yeah.
この航路の先に有人惑星があるようです。
距離は
正確には分かりませんが、通常電波のタイムラグから巡航速度で1日以内なのは間違いありません。
目標との時間距離は約3時間。
有人惑星ともなれば警備艦隊が駐留しているでしょう。その哨戒網との接触前に打破するとしたらギリギリですね。
しかも目標と接触すれば救難信号を出される。それを阻止できないとなれば、その時点で敵にこちらの存在を知られることになる。至近の位置に敵の警備艦隊がいるとすれば。
We want to introduce the concept of jamming now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's jamming, that can also be detected as well.
副長、艦載機の用意を。
は。しかし、
奇襲をかける。艦載機でジャミングしながら、まず敵船の通信装置と砲門をピンポイントで破壊する。同時に本艦は護衛についている武装船を撃沈して、一気に目標に強制接舷して兵を送り込み、白兵船で内部から制圧して船のコントロールを奪う。
As we've already shown off how boarding actions work.
Yeah.
了解いたしました。
キルヒアイス注意。突入部隊の指揮を取れ。
Oh, he's a lieutenant. Oh, yeah, doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, I already told you he didn't get promoted.
Yeah.
所要時間が勝負になる。
He's just chief of security.
Mhm. He looks like somebody who's very terrified. He's like, oh, this is not going according to plan.
ジャミング出力最大ワルキューレ発進罹患と同時に各機もジャミング開始
That's an interesting design for a fighter. I like it.
Yeah, they get real twist ability. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Here's my problem is I think things are happening too good.
Yeah.
We know
too
there's 2 more episodes, so...
Mhm.
護衛艦撃沈よしそのまま前進
And they really did just dust that thing. Like, they flew right through where the debris should be. If it just blew up.
Maybe they're expecting. They were expected.
Yeah, could be a trap.
ジャミングと通信封鎖をしていても今の護衛戦の爆発は敵に観測されたかもしれん
こちらのレーダーも使い物になりませんが
ワルキューレを3回させて索敵させろ
発光信号用意
Huh. Pretty fucking bloody. The armor is anti... I don't know, was that a laser or was that a gun? The armor is for that, but they also have cephal particles too.
Mhm. Yeah, that feels like an ambush.
Unless there's some sort of clever son of a bitch in the vents.
ヘルクスハイマーは
依然捜索中です
艦長向こうの船に移乗して積み荷の確認をしていきたいのですが
Yeah, I remember they're looking for the directional cephal particle generator thing. It is of its time.
Mm-hmm.
Shaggy carpet.
Yeah, it has to be some kind of safe room or something.
Oh no, I like the idea he could have been under that cushion.
Yeah, I told you.
You don't have to tell me, I'm familiar with the idea of a safe room. I in fact watched the movie Safe Room. And The Room.
向こうの船も航行は可能なのだな
はい
よし通信封鎖解除ワルキューレ前期撤収アンカーを切断して向こうにも自力航行させろ
注意
I like the element that these suits have the face mask, but they also have the covering.
Yeah.
So even if you did open a hole up into space, it
Yeah.
seems like they'd still be covered.
Yeah. Careful.
Vacuum sealed.
Mm-hmm.
中が減圧されていたようです。この奥自体がエアロックになっているのでしょう。行くぞ。
11時方向、接近してくる数隻の艦影をレーダーで確認。報告になった敵の警備部隊と思われます。離脱準備急げ。射出されていないのか。どうなさいました？死んでいる。
I mean, that didn't. I still want to know what happened. Did they kill
Yeah.
themselves, or
焦って脱出しようとして。生きています。このポットは無事です。これは敵艦さらに接近。
damn you, show? Just tell me what it is.
Yeah.
回答。ヘルクスハイマーは死んだ。
脱出ポンドで逃げようとして減圧事故を起こしたようです。
God damn it! Even the escape pods are killing
それ
us.
悪い結果ですね。
結果を云々するのは早すぎる。まだ困難は始まったばかりだ。往路より袋が難しい。
I mean, yeah, you still gotta find that prototype.
敵に知られていませんでしたが、以後は追撃も受けるでしょうし、待ち伏せもあるでしょうからな。
そういうことだ。敵はさらに接近しています。最大戦速で離脱する。敵が事態を把握する前に何とかこの中域を離れてしまいたい。向こうの船は
I
ついて
wonder if he's going to abandon ship by the end of this.
And jump into the other one?
Yeah. Use that one as a cover.
できれば問題の積み荷を回収して人員もこちらに収容した方が。
今は無理だ。一旦敵を引き離してから考えよう。キルヒアイス中尉に引き続き向こうの船の
Because I mean, if it's a mission comes first, sort of thing.
どうした？不服か？
いえ、召喚はですが、向こうにはベンドリング少佐も乗り込んでいますので。
少佐には目標物の確認に専念してもらおう。搬出の作業だけでも大変だろうからな。もし不服があるようなら私が話す。
了解。
同盟軍の警備部隊は爆発を確認して現場に急行していたが、この時点でまさか帝国艦が侵入しているとは考えていない。現場に到着して破壊された護衛船の残骸などを調査し、かつ前後の状況を分析して
damn you, narrator.
されたことがわかるだろう。それでも最初は宇宙海賊の仕業とでも考えるかもしれない。残留物などを
Oh, we also have to deal with space pirates.
初めて帝国艦の存在を察知することになるだろう。だがそれまでにはまだ時間がある。その間に少しでも距離を稼いでおきたい。それがラインハルトの考えだった。
Thank you for telling us that.
Wait, is that what Reinhard thought, or what actually happened? No, never mind. It happened.
現場にとどまる間にその探査可能範囲を離脱することに成功し、ヘルクスハイマーの船から接収した航路データから巨大彗星が分裂したものと思われる彗星群を見出し、その中に身を潜めて一時の退避場所とした。
I feel like too much just fucking happened. All in the
Yeah.
narrator's word.
いかがですか？
これに間違いない。だが問題がある。ゼッフル粒子自体は発生するが、肝心の指向性を制御するプログラムにアクセスできない。
プロテクトですか？
そうだ。アクセスコードが書き換えられている。
しかしそれは本国に持ち帰って時間をかければ解析できるのではありませんか？
Well, to be fair,
いや、それはそうだが。
you're here to get it, not to use it.
ヘルクスハイマーが生きていれば当然アクセスコードを知っていたはずなんだ。彼の身柄が確保できなかった以上、 せめてキーワードだけでも。そうだ、他に知っていそうなものはおらんのか。この船の船長とか。
船長以下の乗組員は単に雇われただけのようです。
Yeah, they were not even wearing imperial uniforms like that.
一人だけ生き残っていますが。
Well, no, remember they made the switch in Pheasant territory?
無駄かどうかは私が決める。
It's a child? Like his little kid or something?
Yeah, the one survivor, who all we know of is that's all we
I
got.
think, yeah. It's the girl. Remember we met her already?
これが。
そうです。ヘルクサハイバー伯爵家のマルガレータ城。ただ一人。
Yeah, you're thinking of a different girl.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, the one you're thinking of, while blonde, is the other guy's kid, not Hexenheimer's.
往路より袋の方が難関だった。さらに誰も予想していなかった困難が前途に横たわっていた。
And her name was Karen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thrown by it. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Sorry, I forgot where I started saying what I was saying when we.
Yeah.
It makes sense that the ship has all the navigational data,
Mm-hmm.
or at least some of it, I guess.
Oh, I mean, they have to know where they're going.
Right, but I mean, that might be the defensive measure, is that they only know where they're going.
Yeah.
Because if the idea is that there's a fog of war effect, that the Empire doesn't know the Alliance space lanes, then that must mean they don't capture many ships, or the ships that they capture have limited navigational data.
Yeah. The Cole Protocol from Halo, where whenever they were attempted to be captured, they would scrub all the information they had, especially the location of Earth. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, that's familiar. I just don't know where I know it from. I don't know Halo. No, I don't know Halo. I don't.
You never played any of the Halo games?
I played the first one.
Yeah, that's where it gets mentioned.
No,
literally.
I mean, I only played the demo of the first one, which is landing on that beach with all the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, because I used to work for Target, and they had that display.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I've never done anything with Halo. No,
I played.
Go ahead.
I played up to Halo 4, so yeah.
But no, that's a common thing. God, no, there was a. I don't remember what it is. It's a common thing in sci-fi, but there's one series I know specifically that isn't. I can't remember what it is.
生き残ったマルガレータからアクセスコードを聞き出せないまま機関の戸についたヘイシュリッヒエンチェン。その存在は同盟軍の知るところとなり、猛追撃が開始される。さらにイゼルローンへの航路も封鎖されていた。次回銀河英雄伝説外伝奪還者第3話。野望への道は自らの手で切り開け。
Yeah, I don't know what the implied difficulty in dealing with Margarita is going to be.
I don't know. They can't kill her, I guess? She's a noble?
Well, I would assume they're not going to kill some child for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's going to make things difficult for them, which seems to me was being implied.
Maybe she bluffs that she knows what the code is to whatever her father was having, and starting to make demands.
Could be. I mean, I don't feel like that would be the thing, but it's possible.
Like they're gonna. Well, this is the Empire. They could try to torture it out of her, but
could be. I doubt it though, since we're. Well, I mean, we're on the main character or one of the main character ships, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like that's something we would do.
Hope not.
Especially from the guy who doesn't like how the Empire or the Emperor does things. Sorry, Kaiser does things.
The Caesar, yeah.
So I feel like he would sign off on that. Plus, it's Siegfried that's in control of security, and he's the one we see with her. I don't think he would be for that either.
No. I'm not gonna say what I was about to say because I always say it and it ends up in the same thing anyway.
I don't know what you were gonna say.
That's why I'm not gonna say it.
It's just that's effective.
Yeah, it's as effective as saying it, basically.
Except that I don't know what you're going to say. You're the only one that knows what you were going to say. Even if you say it all the time, you say it all the time bi-weekly, as far as I can tell. So I don't know what you were going to say.
Anyway, well, we have two problems. First of all, they can't go back to Iserlohn directly, so they would have to, I guess, take the Pheasant corridor, go back to the Empire. Well, that's how they came in the first place. Maybe they don't have enough supplies for that.
I mean, it's not how they got here in the first place.
Oh, they went through the Pheasant corridor.
No, they didn't.
Yes, because the
Herxenheimer went through the Pheasant corridor. They didn't. They came through Iserlohn. Remember, the Iserlohn defense fleet. They lured the other guys into, and then when they lured them back, they went through Iserlohn, then went down to try and cut this guy off as he was leaving Pheasant, and then it turns out he left Pheasant before they got here. So
I had to go across, I guess.
Right, because they own Iserlohn. They had no problem entering Iserlohn to get through there.
Yeah.
Whereas if they came behind this guy in the Pheasant corridor, he would fucking know that they were here.
Yeah. I think that's how it went. But they may not have enough.
Literally how this episode started. And also how the last episode ended.
Yeah. It might well be that they don't have enough supplies to do the round trip. We don't know how long it takes anyway, but...
I don't think that's the matter. I think the matter is that they did their whole fucking thing in the Iserlohn corridor. So now the Alliance has beefed up security there for the time being. And now they know that they're here, so they're beefing up security around the Pheasant corridor.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, whatever the fuck the narrator said about space pirates. I'll be honest. Remember when I said at the very beginning we're recording these 3 episodes back to back?
Yeah.
So if we fuck something up, we're going to be fucked up for the next 3 episodes. Well, this is that. I didn't pay enough attention to the narrator because I thought he was just going to tell me what's happening right now. And it turns out he gave me and for the next 17 days, fuck, man, I didn't.
Space pirates in this setting. We have boarding action, so that makes sense. The problem is, where do you get I guess if you have rebel factions and stuff like that, it could be, each side, particularly the Alliance, might just look the other way and give letters of marque or something.
Well, that would only work for the other half, right? If we took pirates from this side and said, hey, go to the other side of this corridor and do your thing. I think maybe it's an element of the fact that the Alliance is more lax in its consequence of breaking the law than the Empire. So that we probably have piracy on the Alliance side, less so on the Imperial side.
But the more tempting targets would certainly be in the Empire side, I guess.
I would say not. The Empire side is a backwards monarchy of some sort versus the Free Planets Alliance, which revels in modern technologies and whatnot. I mean, to be fair, on both sides, you still have whatever merchant ships are passing through the Pheasant corridor, whereas the Iserlohn corridor has no merchant ships, as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
So it's whatever is around this specific territory. And again, I would assume, if this was a RPG or an RTS or something like that, that the Empire is exporting heavy on wheat and cotton versus like the Free Planets Alliance is probably exporting circuit boards and shit people want versus shit people need.
Yeah.
And in a consumer-based economy, shit that people want sells more than shit people need.
Yeah.
I would certainly love a loaf of bread, but I do want to play StarCraft 5.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it seems to me the pirates are probably operating on the shit people want side of the corridor.
Yeah.
Also, it's easier to probably steal and ship like circuit boards and whatnot than it is pallets of wheat or flour or whatever you want to put it in, whatever form.
Yeah. Also, Yang's family on his father's side, they were a shipping company. They were merchants, which is very interesting, considering the joke that fell flat. It's like, oh, they're just stinking merchants, and people are like, yeah, so what? Not important.
Well, to be fair, though, they might not have been very good, considering that the dad collected paintings that had no value whatsoever. Meaning he had no eye for value.
And he was mired in debt.
And conceivably didn't know how a nuclear reactor worked.
I don't mean it was a malfunction, and he tried to repair it, so...
Yeah, and failed, implying that he may not have known how a nuclear reactor worked.
Well, no, he succeeded, but was injured because the ship, it was supposed to melt down. Basically, it was supposed to destroy the ship if it failed. That was the whole problem. He did a Spock where he fixed it, but died in the.
We have no indication that it required a Spock sacrifice to fix. All we know is that there's a meltdown. Oh, I'll get you right there. Also, I guess, also implies he has no concept of the, I don't know, hierarchy of people that need to do their jobs. The captain shouldn't be the one sacrificing their life to save everyone. The guy responsible, whose literal job it is to make sure this stuff works, should be the guy sacrificing himself.
They might be already injured and they don't have enough hands. We were not shown the actual operation, so...
Right, so I'm just putting all the blame on the guy who died.
That's convenient.
Is it?
Yeah, he can't complain. He's dead.
Is that the measure of convenience in your mind? The
In this
level
case,
of
yes.
complaint?
We don't have any other evidence, so yeah, you're blaming the guy who died.
I'm blaming the guy who died because it wasn't his job. I don't feel like it's the captain's job to fix the engines. There's probably a guy with a very specific title.
Yeah, but
probably involving the word engine, if you think about it, in that guy's title. Like an engine.
Okay. When you have an emergency, you use whatever hands you have. You don't like, well, I could let the ship burn down, but you take care of it by yourself. How about you do that? Like, well, I'm on the staff, sir. Well, that's your job, but that's what I pay you for. So if we blow up, it's...
Your flippancy knows no bounds.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, well, he shouldn't have done it. He has an engineer to fix it.
You're still wrong in my eyes.
Why?
Because it is his job. He should have it handled. Also, your responsibility is the welfare of the rest of the crew, which involves you doing your job. The moment that you go off to do somebody else's job, you're not handling your responsibility, and you're placing the welfare of the crew in other people's hands.
It's no, wait. That's just no.
That is how the hierarchy works.
Yeah, but if the emergency in a ship is a fire, and you are right there, and we need all the hands to fight the fire.
He wasn't right there. He had to leave his room, run across the ship, and handle it.
Doesn't matter if it was needed for him to do it, because everybody's life was in danger, not only his own.
The closest of the emergency is the point of what you just said. If the fire is a fire and you're right there, no, dude had to cross the entire ship. He had to abandon his own position to handle somebody else's position. Now, what if another emergency happens while you're in the engine room and then you can't do your job because you're handling somebody else's concerns on the ship?
it's a priority thing. If this is the first thing that happens, you're dealing with it, you just deal with it. And then when the other thing happens, you deal with it as well.
But it's not your job as the captain to run across the ship for every emergency. You have a crew for it who you hired specifically for each position. This is
But it might not have been enough in this situation.
Priority thing. This is a hierarchy thing.
It is. If it's an emergency, it's a priority thing. The hierarchy can go sideways because people
also,
on board
where
the
does
ship
this
have
end? Does the second in command also run to the engine room? Does the cook, when you're not cooking, run to every emergency as well? This makes no sense. It breaks down the entire chain of command to have every responsible officer running to every emergency. This isn't fucking Star Trek. It doesn't make sense in Star Trek. It doesn't make sense here.
It depends on who the skill set is. I mean, if the captain knows how to do it and they're short in hands, they got okay, let me put it this way. In the United States Navy, everybody is trained on what's called what's down damage reduction. It's
damage control.
Basically repair, damage control, which is fire and other types of damage. Sure, the captain may not always be the one who has to do it, but he, as everyone else, has to be trained on it because the experience during World War II was the one you're describing. The Japanese would have damage control parties, and then no one else would do anything else. Most of the time, what happened was that if the damage overwhelmed the damage control parties, everyone was like, well, we don't know what we're doing, so they got screwed. In the United States, it learns like, there's a fire, there's an atomic explosion, you use whoever happens to be there, right?
Once again, though, you're describing proximity, which is not a thing that happened here.
I don't know how close it was.
If the captain of the ship happens to be passing by an area where damage has been affected and then decides to go in and help, completely different scenario. You're a hand on deck at that point. If the captain is sitting up on the bridge and hears, oh no,
he wasn't even talking. He was talking to Yang. He was having a conversation in their quarters.
Yeah.
And someone came in and was like, Captain, we need help. And he's like, okay, let's go. Literally, they fetch for him. It's like, Captain, we need your help. It's like, okay, let's go.
This is a dumb argument, really. I mean, obviously, we have two different points of view. I'm not saying it's dumb because we have different points of view. I just find this whole thing to be stupid. Again, for me, it's the equivalent of taking the captain off the bridge so he can run down to engineering. It's the Star Trek 2 scenario.
Yeah. No, actually, he went down because they told him Spock was there.
Yeah, I know. Oh. I'm just saying that. Well, why did the science officer leave the bridge?
I think he wasn't. Actually, he wasn't. No, he figured out what was going on, I think, and he did it. No, he actually was in the area, saw the crew members that were injured because there were more people than that couldn't do it, and so he jumped in to do it. Literally, there were bodies on the floor because of the radiation that was escaping.
Okay, so it's not so much Star Trek 2 then.
Yeah. In fact, what's his name?
Leonard
McCoy tells him. McCoy, the character, tells him, "Don't do it. It's too dangerous." And he basically nerd pinches him so that
the doctor both of them tell him.
Yeah, and Kirk appears a little later.
No, I'm talking about
Scotty.
Yeah, couldn't think of his name.
Yeah.
James Doohan, I can think of, not Scotty.
Yeah. And he goes in, he nerd pitches, he does the mind transfer thing, and then he
puts
goes
his soul into the other guy's body.
Yeah.
Like he's a Vorlon.
And he goes in, does the thing. And then Spock explains to Kirk that the needs of the many supersedes the needs of the few.
Oh, so close.
Or the one. It's both, actually. The saying includes both.
Okay. I don't know how we got there from here, but other than me bringing up Star Trek 2.
Okay. So, that's it. That's all I have to say about this episode.
All right. So, yeah, sorry. I'm just thinking if I was anything else I wanted to go over because I went too deep into this subject. Yeah, no, I guess I'm just mostly thrown by the narrator. That was unnecessary. I feel like.
Yeah.
Also, a 2-hour episode, so the next 2 episodes better be packed full of shit. Otherwise, again, why did the narrator do that?
Like, oh, we don't have enough time. Hey, you, tell them what's going on. Okay.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, though. The next 2 episodes better be, like, the best 2 episodes. Otherwise...
I imagine the narrator in the booth saying, it was like, he's right. It's like, oh, by the way, here. It's like, what's this? Your lines. But this is everything. Yeah, there you go. That's what we pay you for.
Turns
But
out
it's
the
easier-
animators couldn't figure it out. We're going to need you to just tell us everything.
It's cheaper to pay you to read this than to animate it. So start reading. Like, yes, sir. You're the one who pays the checks. Signs the checks, actually.
Yeah. Well, pays the checks. Anyway, yeah, so, well, I guess that is it then. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions. We will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?